Hey everybody, Robert with RC Archery. You're watching Tuesday's Tip of the Week number 89. This week we are doing a member chosen video. So I asked different topics you would want to see. The main one that I saw was grips. So we're going to talk about how we get my grip, the way that I'm setting it up, the way that our forearm works and creates an issue with the shoulder potentially, and how to avoid that. And then in our members video this week, we'll go over stabilizers, how they can create some bad tears or some problems on up and downhill shots and what we're looking for in that range. And then in YouTube Shorts, our two videos that come out on Wednesday and Thursday, we'll talk about a tip that I have for wrapping the grip, what I'm using to wrap the grip, why I'm using that, and how it helps me. And then also, we're going to be going over high, medium, and low risk grips, kind of the differences between those, what you're looking for, and how they may affect your shot. What I guess probably what you're looking for is being most comfortable for you, and how the loop actually affects what we're feeling with our grip. With all that being said, guys, let's jump right into it. All right, the first thing that I wanted to talk about today is bone structure in our bow arm. And this actually plays a much bigger part in how steady we are on target and how our shoulder is seating or not seating than people realize. The bones that we have that run through our forearm, they cross. And because of this, the angle that we put our bow hand actually affects what we see with our shoulder, being able to be raised up or have it come down. A lot of the times I get people when I'm working with them on coaching and they have a shoulder that wants to raise up and it never feels like they can get it seated. They don't feel as steady. You get a lot of up and down bob in your float when it's like this, and they don't know why, and they think it's draw length, and they think it's bow, and they think it's their stabilizers and all this other stuff, and it's not. It's just literally the angle of their hand. So one drill that I like to talk people through and help you so you can kind of feel this and see what it's like is stand with your arm out and your hand flat. And then from here, if you'll take the thumb and raise it up, and then if you'll take the thumb and put it down. And of course, we're not shooting our bow like this, but this is an extreme example so that you can see what you're feeling here. But you can actually start feeling the shoulder want to raise up and then seat back down when you're doing this drill. So if you're somebody that has a very vertical grip, they don't have a lot of angle here, their elbow may be really locked out, stuff like that, you'll notice that this shoulder wants to naturally kind of rise and pull up out of your socket there, out of the joint. So this is where that 45-degree angle came from when we're looking at our bow hand. And that 45-degree angle is just a random number thrown out there. You don't have to be right at 45 degrees. The size and shape of your hand, the width of the grip or the riser of your bow, that is a big determining factor on what that actual angle needs to be for you, and it can change sometimes from bow to bow. Generally, if you have a small hand or if you have a very wide grip on a bow, your hand positioning can't quite be as far over here. It needs to be a little bit more vertical because you just need more hand in that bow. So keep that in mind. The other thing that I want to look at when I'm looking at bone structure is I don't want my elbow to be locked out. When you have a lot of tension here in this elbow and you lock it out, you can see that it puts a lot of tension right here in the joint, and it puts a lot of tension right here in these muscles, and it keeps you from being as steady as you potentially can be, and it keeps this joint from seating and settling in. The other byproduct is if you have a relaxed elbow where it's soft, you don't have to have a bend in it, but it needs to feel relaxed. This will actually soak up a lot of little vibrations and little micro movements and things like that whenever we're shooting, especially out in the wind. It just helps a lot with having a steadier sight picture. All right, before I get all into my grip, the grip that I'm teaching, why, and how all that breaks down, I have a question, poll, whatever you want to look at this. I want your help, essentially. So I am just below 15,000 subscribers, and this year I want to make a push to see how far and how big that I can grow this channel. So this is where you come in. So I need feedback from you. What would you like to see? I've been doing tip videos for years, and that's not going to stop. I mean, that's just who I am, and I'm definitely going to put that out. But if you are subscribed to this channel, do you want to see different material, different formats? You know, maybe like like today's video with a grip. Maybe I'm going around and I'm shooting and doing something at an archery range or at a 3D range or doing something like that, and we just talk about a grip while we're doing that. Would you rather see content that way instead of it just solely being focused on, you know, the tip and the information of what we're doing? If you aren't subscribed to this channel, what do you like to watch? What would make you want to subscribe to this channel? Comment down below, everybody. Let me know. I'm open to any and all feedback because I just want to make this the most entertaining and best, you know, form of what you would want. And then, you know, if it's not just tips with what we're doing today and you want to see me shoot, or you want to see league nights, or you want to see other things like that, let me know. I'm glad to do that as well. It doesn't matter to me. I want to make this entertaining and fun for everybody. I want to get the most possible out of this. So let me know. All right, with that being said, our grip. So specifically the structure of the hand. So we have what's called the lifeline that runs down the middle of the hand. And then everything on the thumb pad side of that, I deem is good. You know, and even if the grip or the riser is touching the lifeline, as long as it's not crossing over, I personally say that's fine. So generally most people have a flat spot somewhere on their thumb pad side. And everybody's hand's built a little differently and it's all shaped a little differently, so you may have to find that. I caution you, don't go too extreme to the very edge of the thumb or, you know, the other way to the very edge of the lifeline. It should be somewhere in the middle of that. But most of you have that little flat area, and that will help you the most as far as getting it on the grip and actually into the bow and feeling comfortable. But what I do is a little helpful tool for multiple different reasons. One, it creates the pocket that you're gonna need for your grip, but two, it also gives your hand something to do. So I see a lot of archers that as they shoot, they curl their fingers in or they stretch them out or they're doing something weird with them and it's creating grip torque or a little wiggle or something in their grip. So what I teach people, especially early on, is to take your pinky, your ring, and your middle fingers and curl them into the palm. So we want them into the hand like this. And you can see that creates a pocket right here, and it actually opens up this little edge for the lifeline, but it creates a natural pocket and it creates the hand naturally at roughly a 45-degree angle, and then you can have the bow sitting in it just like that. Super simple to go through that way. Makes everything a lot easier for archers when they're just starting because it gives them something to do and it creates their grip. I use this myself pretty much all the time, but I have it very soft whenever I'm shooting, and I think that that's the biggest thing. You know, how we're getting our hand into the grip, as long as it's soft, it will naturally kind of find where it needs to go, I guess is the best way to say that. So whenever we're getting our bow, we get our hand into the grip. I like to have, if possible, even pressure along the palm. I don't want to have to force my hand up into the webbing part of my hand and push the top of the bow down. And I don't necessarily want to put a lot of my heel into the bow and force the bow up or kick the bow out. Now, if you are going to go one direction or the other, for me personally, I'll probably lend a little bit more to that heel side. If you're somebody that's having a problem with raising the bow up on target and maybe it's just wanting to dip down, you might also play with a lower wrist grip and see how that works for you as well. Now, the other thing to look at with this is our loop height will determine what we feel with that grip. If the loop height is really high, it's gonna pull it more back from the top of the bow. And then when it does that, we're gonna have more pressure on the top part of our grip here. And the same thing, if our loop is too low, it's gonna pull more from the bottom of the bow and you're gonna feel more pressure into the heel. So because of that, you may actually have your entire hand on the grip and it may be, you know, even pressure as far as when you set it in there. But when you're at full draw, the forces of the bow pulling back or pulling, you know, back from the top or back from the bottom could change how you feel those pressures in your hand. So keep that in mind. That brings in a whole nother topic, and that's what we do when it comes to aiming and getting a natural point to aim vertically. But keep that in mind whenever you're just grabbing your bow with the way that it's set up currently. All right, and the last thing that we're going to talk about today is how we're drawing the bow, getting ourselves to full draw, and the importance of having a softer bow hand and forearm and elbow. So when we are drawing the bow back and when we're getting into that grip, again, we want to just have our hand be soft. You actually want to feel as you draw the bow back, that the riser or the grip of the bow pushes into the hand some, and the hand kind of forms and molds itself around it a little. That's just showing that you have a softer hand. That keeps a lot of the left and right torque and tension and wobble and wiggle out of your sight picture, and it helps a ton. Same with keeping the forearm and the elbow soft. When we're at full draw, we just mute some of the movement that we have and what we're seeing through our scope or through our sight picture there. So want to make sure that all that is happening as we're drawing the bow back. And then also, if you are shooting the bow and in the middle of the shot before it breaks, you start to see some wiggle left and right, or you start to see an erratic sight picture, double check what you're doing with your grip. You could be tensing the hand up and getting firm with it. Same with your elbow, your forearm, something like that. It's very natural for us to want to do that, especially if we're trying to control the aim and kind of lessen the overall movement, what we're seeing. So keep that in mind, watch out for that. That is some areas to look into. Thank y'all for watching this video today. Again, comment down below and let me know what I can do to help grow my subscription basis here and make this channel bigger and get you what you want to see. So let me know, guys. Again, the members video this week will be coming out. It's going to be over stabilizers, some things to look at that could be causing you issues and problems with your grip. And then our YouTube shorts this week, we're going to be talking about high, medium, low with that D-loop. And also the grip wrap that I use, so you can get an idea, especially if you're a target shooter and your hand is sweating in the summer, or your hand is sweating indoors even because you get nervous. So thank you for watching this video. I'll see you soon.